Isn't that Lord Fu's wife? Why is she dressed like a merchant? I heard Lord Fu now serves in the Ministry of Rights. He only associates with the nobility now. Someone like her is probably too embarrassing to present in public.
Now that the master has risen to greatness, he has forgotten how destitute he once was. If my lady hadn't taken pity on him, he would have starved to death on the streets long ago. Enough. But they're speaking of you this way.
He doesn't want others to know about his past. I will grant him his wish.
You went to the shops again.
The shopkeepers came to report the accounts today, so I went to take a look. Look at other men's wives.
Gentle, virtuous, and well-educated. Then look at you, all day long with your abacus, clacking those beads loudly, completely lacking in decorum, reeking of nothing but money.
All the household expenses for the master's estate.
Is it your place to speak here?
You promised me yesterday that you would come home with me today to meet my parents.
Meet your parents?
We have already bowed to heaven and earth. It is only right that they should meet you.
Lin Songji, wake up. Compared to the daughter of Minister Lin, you are worlds apart.
The daughter of Minister Lin?
Everyone says Minister Lin admires my youthful talent and intends to betroth his daughter to me. She is a true noble lady of high birth, well-educated and refined, who can help me rise through the ranks.
So, you will not come home with me?
Don't even dream that I will go home with you to meet your parents. If they want to meet, tell them to crawl over here and see me themselves.
Fine.
What are you making a fuss about now? I am not making a fuss.
Is my lady really not going to tell him that you are the legitimate daughter of Minister Lin? If he were willing to come home with me,
He would have naturally found out today.
but he didn't want to know.
Since he thinks I am too embarrassing to be seen with, then this marriage should be dissolved.
Songji. Didn't your letter say you were bringing your husband back with you? Where is your husband?
He thinks I am too embarrassing to be seen with, and refused to come with me.
A poor scholar like him, who relied on you spending 50,000 taels of silver to purchase a 5th grade official rank so he could enter the capital, actually dares to look down on you.
My lord, the master is now telling everyone outside that my lady is just a merchant's daughter, who is not worthy of him. Insolent.
I will not marry him.
Good. If you won't marry him, then so be it. In any case, you only bowed to heaven and earth, and never registered your marriage certificate with the government.
I want to settle matters with Fu Yunjiao first.
Very well, father will give you time. Once you have settled it, come home quickly. Father will handle everything for you.
My lady, this is bad. Young Master Fu is by the river. Something is about to happen.
My lady, the payment for the goods hasn't been finalized yet.
Hold it for now. Saving a life is more important. Fu Yunjiao, what are you doing?
I failed the imperial examination again. 3 examinations, and I failed all 3 times. How can I face you now?
It's just a failed exam. Is it worth risking your life over?
You said it yourself. The only way your father would agree to our marriage was for me to pass the examination and become an official in the imperial court.
My father wanted someone who could protect me, not someone who would die in front of me.
Songji, I want to be an official. I want to stand proudly before your father and tell him that I am worthy of you.
Fine. If you want to be an official, I will help you. You will help me as long as you don't seek death again.
A banknote of 50,000 taels to purchase him a 5th-rank vice director position in the Ministry of Rights. Miss Lin, have you thought this through?
I have.
Does he know?
Do not tell him. He is very proud. If he knew his position was bought, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to bear it.
You truly do protect him.
He wants respectability, so I will give him respectability.
Lord Fu, your wife is here.
She doesn't really count. We never registered our marriage with the government. With his current status, she is at most my mistress.
Miss Lin, I heard you keep pestering Lord Fu to go home and meet your parents.
Is that what he told you?
Lord Fu and I share a deep connection. Naturally, we share everything. Strictly speaking, officials do not associate with commoners. If you truly wish to marry Lord Fu, your parents should take the initiative to visit and pay their respects.
How could a merchant family understand such etiquette?
As a merchant's daughter reeking of money.
What could she possibly know? When I mentioned it to her yesterday, she even threw a tantrum at me.
Lord Fu, why not hire an etiquette governess from the palace to teach Miss Lin the rules of a proper household?
Haha. Forget it. You can't carve rotten wood. Why waste that hard-earned money?
Fu Yunjiao. Didn't you beg to marry into my family in the beginning? How is it that now, it's as if I'm the one riding your coattails?
A matrilocal husband? Lord Fu, you once wanted to marry into a merchant's family?
Lin Songji, what nonsense are you talking? How could I ever marry into your family?
So the marriage vows we took before heaven and earth don't count either?
Of course they don't count. However, though you cannot be my primary wife, I can reluctantly offer you the position of a concubine. Looking at the entire imperial court, who would be willing to take a merchant's daughter even as a concubine? This is already my greatest charity to you.
No.
You dare to be picky?
I only take a husband into my home. I do not marry out, and I will certainly never be a concubine.
Suit yourself. But we have already shared a marriage bed. If you do not marry me, I'd like to see who else would ever marry you.
Miss, the banknotes from the southern shops are in this chest. The jewelry is in that chest. The fushi zither left by Madam is on the display shelf.
Everything has been registered clearly. What can be moved will be taken away tomorrow morning.
Miss, so soon.
Any slower, and they will be claimed as property of the Fu estate.
Take down that zither.
Sir, this zither was left to Miss by her late mother. You cannot touch it.
Get out of my way. This is my manor. How dare a mere maid stop me?
Hold on. This zither, my mother specially commissioned a master craftsman to make it for me. It is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. You have no right to take it without my consent.
I am merely borrowing it. I will return it to you later.
You don't even know how to play. What are you borrowing it for? Tell me.
The daughter of Minister Lin is highly skilled in music. I want to have this zither presented to her.
You're using Mrs. late mother's relic to curry favor with someone else?
What do you know? Minister Lin intends to betroth his daughter to me. This is my opportunity.
Your opportunity has to be paved with my belongings?
Don't be so jealous. The worst that can happen is, after I marry her, I'll convince her to let you enter the household on the same day. She will enter through the main gate, and you will enter through the side gate. Taking a wife and a concubine together is already highly honoring you.
I said before, I only take a husband into my home. I will not marry out, and I certainly will not be a concubine.
You are clearly forcing my hand.
Miss.
Fu Yunzhao, are you mad?
It's just a broken zither. It's not like you know how to play it anyway.
Miss, please don't cry.
Prepare the carriage. Where are we going? To the capital, to find a craftsman. We've been to every single shop.
The damage to the soundboard is too severe. It can't be repaired. Sai, even if we force it back together, it won't hold its tune. Miss, if this zither was a keepsake from your late mother, you should just keep it as a memento. Don't waste any more effort on it.
Miss, let's go back.
Go back?
Where did you go? Do you have any idea how I've been waiting for you for 2 whole hours? Here, I bought you an identical zither.
How can this possibly be the same?
They are both zither. What's the difference?
You waited for me just for this zither?
I've already replaced it for you. Can you promise me one thing?
What is it?
I heard Minister Lin has started asking about me. No matter who comes to ask you, just say you are my distant cousin. You and I never registered our marriage certificate, so others won't be able to tell anyway.
When we bowed to heaven and earth in Qingshui town, the entire town's elders drank our wedding wine.
That's just old news from a small, insignificant place. It's not fit for presentable society.
Then what about me? Am I also not fit for presentable society?
It's only because you don't understand the rules of high society. I am forced by circumstances to take another wife. If you were as educated and broad-minded as Miss Jiang, I wouldn't have to wrong you like this. Of course, you have your own strengths. You have plenty of money.
Enough, say no more.
So, you agree?
I agree. From now on, if anyone asks,
I will say I am your distant cousin.
Really? Really?
Rest assured, although Miss Lin will be my primary wife, you will always be the one I love most. Once she enters the household, I will favor you and won't let her bully you.
Fu Yunzhao, you've really opened my eyes.
What did you say?
Nothing. It's late, and I'm tired.
Miss, are you really going to acknowledge him as your cousin?
He asked for it himself. Naturally, I will grant it.
Miss, everything is ready.
Move them according to the ledger. Do not leave a single item of mine behind. The Fu Manor was bestowed by the Imperial Court. Leave that untouched, but take everything else that was bought with my money.
Miss, what about that Polonia zither that cost 3 taels of silver?
Leave it.
Why leave it?
Have Afu give it to Fu Yunzhao. Tell him to pay the difference.
Make sure he makes up the full 3,000 taels.
Not a single copper coin less.
Master Fu, please wait.
This humble official is here.
Today is my daughter's birthday. I have prepared a modest banquet at my manor. I wonder if Master Fu would grace us with his presence.
It would be this humble official's honor.
Master Fu, the minister invited you personally. It seems a happy occasion is drawing near.
It is merely the minister showing favor.
If you become the minister's son-in-law in the future, please do not forget us. Of course.
Songji, you've lost weight. The main kitchen has stewed bird's nest. Be sure to eat more later.
Your father had us prepare the birthday banquet days ago. Since you delayed your return, we thought you were going to miss it again this year.
Thank you for your concern, aunts. Having not seen you for a few years, you have indeed become much more poised.
Your Highness still loves to tease me as always.
For today's show, I will back you up.
Thank you, Your Highness. This gentleman is Fuyan Zhao.
I heard Minister Lin intends to betroth his legitimate daughter to him.
Minister Lin, I wonder if your esteemed daughter is present?
Here is my daughter.
How can it be you?
Songji greets you, cousin. Cousin? Lord Fu is a cousin to the Lin family. Didn't they say the minister wanted him as a son-in-law? What on earth is going on?
What did you just call me, cousin?
Didn't you ask me to call you that yourself?
No, that's not.
Thank you, Lord Fu, for escorting my daughter back to the capital. Now that she has returned safely, I will personally deliver a thank you gift to your estate in the coming days.
Minister Lin, actually Songji and I are—
My daughter is 20 years old. Previously, because of the passing of my late wife, she volunteered to go to Yunju Temple to fast and pray for her mother, which delayed her marriage. If any family is interested, their young men may send in their calling cards. However, there is one condition. My daughter is only taking a matrilocal husband. She will not marry out.
The eldest Miss Lin is taking a matrilocal husband. The Lin family's estate is massive. It's not surprising they want a matrilocal husband.
Minister Lin, I—
Songji is a close personal friend of mine. She encountered danger on her way back to the capital and was fortunately rescued by Lord Fu. To evade the bandits, they had no choice but to pretend to be husband and wife. As soon as Songji entered the capital, she explained this clearly to me. Lord Fu is a man of noble character. Naturally, he wouldn't take advantage of a weak woman like Songji. Am I right, Lord Fu?
Songji. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me you are Minister Lin's daughter?
When I asked you to come home and meet my father, you were the one who disdained him as unworthy and refused to come back with me. Have you forgotten?
If I had known earlier that your father is Minister Lin, how could I have possibly said those things?
I am very glad you didn't know.
Songji, I was just speaking in anger. If I had known earlier that your father is Minister Lin, how could I have possibly said those things?
Otherwise, I might never have known what kind of man my partner truly is.
Songji.
Lord Fu, is the inner courtyard of the minister's estate a place you can barge into as you please?
You're just a housekeeper. How dare you speak to me, a fifth-grade official of the court, in this manner?
This is the capital, a mere fifth-grade official, and you have the nerve to call yourself a high court official? Guards, escort Lord Fu out.
Well, isn't this Lord Fu? How did you get thrown out of the minister's estate?
Lord Fu, is something on your mind?
Am I really such a failure?
Since you came out of the minister's estate, is it because Miss Lin has been betrothed to someone else?
I suppose so.
Then Miss Lin is blind and fails to appreciate your talent. If I were Miss Lin, I wouldn't choose anyone else. I would favor only you.
Really?
Really. If you are willing to marry me, I will go home with you right now, alright? Why is there no one here? Fu. The servants in your estate are getting more and more undisciplined. Have we been robbed?
Guards, is anyone there?
My lord, what is it?
Where are the things? Where did all the valuable things in here go?
The eldest Miss Lin took them away.
By what right?
Those things belonged to her in the first place. You only own this house.
She is already married to me. We bowed to heaven and earth.
That doesn't count as a marriage. You didn't register your marriage certificate with the government. I recall Miss Lin kept urging you before. Weren't you the one who refused?
Whose side are you on?
Though I am your servant. It was the eldest Miss Lin who paid my monthly wages.
Fine. You people only care about money, not loyalty. Then why didn't you leave with her?
Oh, right. Miss Lin had me stay behind just to give you this. Miss Lin said, your chain is made of the cheapest Paulonia wood. It's not even in the same league as the one you smashed.
What does he want?
His chain was custom made by a master craftsman, worth 3,000 taels of silver. Yours is worth less than 3 taels. He wants you to pay him the difference. Surely a distinguished 5th grade official isn't short of 3,000 taels, right? The eldest Miss Lin also said that if you don't pay this back, he will report you to the authorities for destroying private property.
Shuran, can you lend me 3,000 taels? I'll pay you back as soon as I get my salary.
Are you crazy? Do you think 3,000 taels is easy to make?
Didn't you say you were willing to come home with me?
Being willing to go home with you doesn't mean I'll pay off your debts.
I'm only borrowing it. Humph.
Your monthly salary is only 50 taels. To pay back 3,000 taels, you'd have to go without food or drink for 5 years. 5 years? Who knows if you'll even keep your official post in 5 years' time?
Didn't you always say you admired me?
I admired Lord Fu with his promising future, not an empty shell who can't even produce 3,000 taels. You always acted so wealthy in front of your colleagues. I thought you made all that money yourself. Turns out you're just a freeloading kept man. And you can't even do that right. If I were you, I'd hurry up and coax Miss Lin back.
Money.
Go back and tell Lin Songji that I will definitely pay this money back.
Miss Lin said she will give you 7 days.
Ha 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 ha.
Gentlemen, I am a bit short of cash lately and would like to borrow 3,000 taels for a short-term transition.
3,000 taels? That's no small sum.
I have an ailing mother at home, so I really can't spare any.
In the past, whenever I invited you here, didn't it always cost thousands of taels?
Lord Fu. Weren't you the one treating us then? We have some business to attend to, so we'll take our leave first.
They call me brother every day. Yet, in the end, they won't even help with 3,000 taels.
Brother Fu, you should still go and beg the eldest Miss Lin.
Me? Beg her?
Right now, she's the only one willing to bail you out of this mess.
She's just throwing a tantrum with me. Once her anger cools down, she will naturally return to the Fu residence.
Do you really think so?
She has performed the marriage vows with me, and we have consummated our marriage. Without me, who else could she marry? Ah Fu, where is the tea?
My lord, even the firewood and rice were taken by Miss Lin.
Where are my brocade robes?
Miss Lin bought those. My lord, this is all the rice left in the residence.
Prepare the carriage. I'm going to the minister's residence to return the money and to fetch her back home.
Miss, this is the concubine-born son of the Marquis of Wuhan. Hearing that you are fabulously wealthy, he is willing to marry into your family. Too ugly. Rejected. Next, this is the third son of the Vice Minister of Works. He is as handsome as Pannon.
Too effeminate.
Miss, this one has a very high nose bridge. It's so high it looks ready to pierce the sky. No.
Oh, Lin Songji. Do you have no sense of shame?
Lord Fu, this is the minister's residence, not the Fu residence.
You have already performed the marriage vows with me. How can you still be looking at other men?
Didn't you say it didn't count, and told me to call myself your distant cousin? Matchmaker, please leave us. Speak. What brings you here? Is it to return the 3,000 taels?
Are you still angry? Calm down. I know you're mad at me for wanting to make you a concubine in order to marry the minister's daughter. I didn't know your true identity back then. It's only natural that you're angry with me. But now that so many days have passed, your anger should have cooled down, right?
And then?
Come home with me. We'll pick a date to go before your father and state that I am willing to marry into the Lin family and become his son-in-law. What are you laughing at?
You might be willing, but I'm not.
Lin Songji.
Fu Yunzhao, let's get one thing straight. It's not that you won't marry me, it's that I don't want you anymore.
You're already damaged goods. Without me, who better could you possibly find?
Threatening a woman with her chastity is hardly the act of a true gentleman. Let me tell you this today, even without that so-called chastity, I still deserve someone much better.
Fine. Go find someone. Go on. I'll ruin it for you. I will make sure everyone knows that you, the eldest daughter of the Lin family, are nothing but my second-hand trash.
My lady, since he wants to ruin your reputation.
Let's make him taste what it feels like to have his own ruined first. Don't take his life. Let the court of censors see it with their own eyes, and let all of the capital hear of it with their own ears.
Understood, my lady.
Songji, give it to me. Who are you? Let go of me. Shu.
Keep it down. Is this something to be proud of? Or does Lord Fu want to draw the attention of the court of censors?
Lord Fu, as an official of the imperial court, openly frequenting a place like this, just wait to be stripped of your office and investigated.
Commander Li, I have been wronged. I was set up.
Wronged. So many of us saw you with our own eyes, and you still dare to claim you're wrong.
I was truly kidnapped and brought here.
Save those words for the court of censors.
Isn't that Lord Fu? Being led out of Nanfeng brothel with his clothes disheveled. Now this is going to be a spectacle.
Do you really want to strip him of his official hat?
He destroyed my late mother's relic, insulted my reputation, borrowed my money to pave his political career, and in the end, wanted to step on me to climb into the Lin family's good graces.
Didn't you used to protect him the most?
I protected the wrong person back then. Now, it's time to settle the score. Good.
I will have someone impeach him in court for misconduct, moral corruption, and deceiving his superiors. That's more than enough to have him dismissed and sent back to his hometown.
Oh, the great Lord Fu of the past, reduced to this state now. I heard all his past glory was built entirely on the wealth of the Lin family's eldest daughter.
Where did this filthy beggar come from? Get lost. Open your eyes and see who I am. Oh, it's Lord Fu. Oh, wait. You're no longer a lord now.
In the past, when did you ever see me without being utterly respectful?
We treated you to good food and drinks in the past, only because of Lady Lin. Without Lady Lin, what kind of nobody do you think you are?
Songji. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. I am willing to marry into your family. I am truly willing to be your live-in husband now.
Isn't this for Yun Jiao, the former vice director? I heard he was lecherous and was caught red-handed by the Court of Censors. Someone like him still wants to marry into the Lin family.
What do you know? Songji and I have already performed the marriage vows.
I heard that when Lady Lin encountered bandits on her way back to the capital, the two of them pretended to be husband and wife. Pretending counts too. He must have lost his mind.
Songji, say something. Tell them that I am your husband.
Hardly. We never registered with the local government. With your current status, forget about being a live-in husband. You aren't even qualified to offer yourself to my bed. Let's go.
Young lady, come have some sweet rice cakes. Where is your husband? On your wedding day, this old woman even went to drink to your marriage.
Him? He said performing the vows didn't count and went off to marry someone else.
Even with heaven and earth as witness, it didn't count? He offended heaven and earth. He'd better watch out, or he'll end up dead in the street.
Songji.
Miss, it's Fu Yunjiao.
Ha ha ha. A runaway horse. Get out of the way.
Miss, watch out.
Songji. I'm sorry.
Miss, he reported it to the authorities. Back then, he was also saved by you, Miss, all for a single bun.
Back then, I saved a human being.
And now? Now, what killed him was his own greed.
Miss, Master sent a letter from the capital. He wants you to return to the capital as soon as you finish up here.
To have me go back for matchmaking again, I suppose? Let him wait. I'm preparing for my next trip to Jiangnan, Mississippi.
That man over there is Li Xianqing, the wealthiest man in Jiangnan.
I know. The one who snatched 3 of my shipping routes.
Miss Lin, I have long looked forward to meeting you.
Mr. Lee, likewise. I heard you intercepted another shipment of mine.
In business, it's survival of the fittest.
Well said, survival of the fittest.
But today I didn't come to compete with you.
Then why are you here?
You have the connections on the Jiangnan waterways, and I have the backing of the Li family fleet. Rather than both of us suffering, why don't we join forces?
You don't mind that I'm covered in the stench of money?
The stench of money is just the scent of wealth. To hold wealth in one's own hands is a true skill. I admire people with skill. Mr. Lee, you certainly have a way with words. In the future, you will realize that I have more than just a way with words.
Mr. Lee, you once came to propose to Sangji. But she turned you down.
Now you want to try again. Do you know the rules of the Lin family? Miss Lin only takes a matrilocal husband. She does not marry out. You are the wealthiest man in Jiangnan.
And the eldest son of the Li family. Are you willing to marry into my family?
I am.
Li Xianqing, think this through. If you marry into the Lin family, our children will take my surname. There will be no shortage of gossip in the capital.
I have thought it through very clearly.
What about the Jiangnan Li family business?
I'll leave it to my second brother.
You're quite willing to let it go.
Everyone has their own ambitions. Some chase after family estates, while others chase after the world.
Then what is your ambition?
To guard the one I love, through 3 meals and 4 seasons. My lady.
Why are you dazed?
My lady.
You smell so sweet.
Li Xianqing, you are the wealthiest man in Jiangnan. Why do you act like you've never seen the world?
I have seen much of the world, except for the sight of you marrying me. In the future, if you want to be the wealthiest person in the country, I will accompany you. My ambition is to guard the one I love, through 3 meals and 4 seasons.
Then I shall trouble my husband to take good care of me in the future.
As you command, my lady.
Ha ha ha. Mother, father hid the sweet cakes again.
Nonsense. That's because I'm afraid you'll eat too many and get toothaches.
Ha ha ha. Today, the account books from Jiangnan arrived.
They arrived. Second brother did a good job. You don't need to worry.
Do you really not regret it?
You have asked this many times.
And you have answered many times.
I don't regret it. I used to always travel outward.
Yet you prefer to guard this little courtyard.
If you want to travel outward, then I will guard our home for you. This is perfect.
I was once trapped in a misplaced affection, thinking a woman's path could only be judged by others. Only later did I realize that the path is beneath one's own feet.
So, may all women in the world have the courage to break their shackles
and choose their own destiny.